High ticket services. What are high ticket services? In this video, we're going to break down what a high ticket service is, and more importantly, why it's so important to your business, why it can make you so much more money. Once I understood this concept, it just completely changed the landscape of my coaching business, and I want to show you right off the bat. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. What is high ticket coaching? If you have been in the coaching sphere, you've probably heard this term a million times before. Let's break down what high ticket is. Now, depending on people's definition, high ticket can be anything from $1,000 plus, okay? A lot of people I know, they say, nope, it's at least $2,000. Regardless of what it is, high ticket essentially means services upwards of a certain amount, that is 1,000 or 2,000, so more expensive, more premium services, all right? Now, then you have low ticket. So low ticket would be your sub $1,000 offers. So for example, these, if you're let's say if you're a fitness coach, right, you'll have your diet plan, you'll have your, if you're a career coach, you could be doing resume writing. These are your low ticket offers, all right? A lot of times when we start our business, or at least when I started my business, a lot of the coaches that I work with, they start their business. It's hard to go from zero to making a couple of thousands right off the bat. They're like, oh my God, how am I going to make that jump? So the easy option is to start with low ticket offers, all right? And then they start with low ticket offers. They start offering their diet plans, their resume, whatever, and they'll make maybe $100 for this. I've seen people do much lower than that, maybe $50 for a resume. And you can kind of see how this is not the type of income that will replace your salary. Okay, if you want to launch a business, you want to do it because you want freedom, but also so you can earn enough money to support yourself. So if you're making, say, $500 for a low ticket offer, $50, that's not going to cut it. Now, a lot of people also have coaching packages, right? So they'll have a coaching package and it'll be, say, $750 or $500 or $600, whatever, and you can still see it is still sub 1,000. So it's not going to pay the bills, right? I know people who have services at $1,500 to $2,000, but the problem is, even though upfront they seem like, wow, they're very premium services, it's all, you know, I'm going to give so much value, blah, blah, blah. That's great, but a lot of times these packages entail working for up to 3 to 6 to, you know, God knows how many months. I know people who've done this for an entire year, 1 year, and weekly, okay? So if you have, suppose if you've got a client and you're working with them for 6 months at $1,500, which I know a lot of people do, and I wouldn't recommend it. It sounds like good money up front because you're getting it, but when you break it down 6 months, and if you're doing that weekly, so that's 4 sessions a month, what does it come up to? If you do the math on that, that's way less than $50 an hour or whatever it is. It's very, very low. So just because you're charging between $1,500 and $2,000, that doesn't mean it's good for you. That doesn't mean the breakdown of that cost is going to be profitable, right? So if there's one thing I want you to do is, first of all, realize what is the breakdown. How much money are you making per hour if you break it down? Ideally, when I'm working with my clients, I try to make sure it's at least $300. That's what we're aiming for, $300 an hour, because then it puts you in that premium territory, all right? Another thing, why, before we get into why you want to focus on high ticket, when you focus on low ticket and you focus on high ticket, there is one commonality. And what is that commonality? That is getting clients, okay? Getting clients. Now, if you have been in the coaching space, you know, or you're thinking of getting in the coaching space, the biggest problem, the biggest issue is, how do I get clients? How do I get started, okay? Now, if you had to do, say, prospecting, right? There's a great book called Fanatical Prospecting. I highly recommend this book. Fantastic. Prospecting is essentially you going out and looking for customers, or you're attracting clients, or you're opening up conversations with more people. If you're offering a service that is, say, $500, let's just take the average here, okay? In order for you to make, let's say, $5,000 every month, you need to get 10 clients, all right? 10 clients. Getting 10 clients every month, it's not impossible, definitely not impossible, but if you're starting out, getting 10 clients can be a bit of a push, especially if it only allows you to make 5,000. So think about it like this. You will be doing a lot of activities like creating content. You will be doing outreach. You will be doing the actual coaching itself. You will be messaging in the inbox. You will be doing sales calls, you name it, right? There's a lot of these activities that you'll be doing, all of that stuff to attract a client that will only pay you $500, right? Doesn't really seem like something that's worth doing. It doesn't really seem like something you should spend a lot of time doing given the kind of result you get. Now, why do we want to switch it to high ticket? We want to switch it to high ticket because this process is essentially going to stay the same. You're going to spend the same amount of time on prospecting that you are with a low ticket offer and a high ticket offer, at least the way I teach it, all right? So if you have, let's say, 50 hours in a month to dedicate to prospecting and finding new clients, okay? You've got 50 hours. Do you want to spend those 50 hours targeting and reaching out to clients who can only pay you 500 or 1,000 or whatever? Or do you want to spend those 50 hours targeting clients who can pay you $2,000 plus? Doesn't it make more sense just to pick the high ticket service? The interesting thing is a lot of people think, well, who's going to pay me this much? Who's going to pay me $2,000, right? That puts us in an entirely different video where we talk about packaging, value-based pricing, how you can actually offer something that is worth this much. We're not going to talk about that in this video. But it makes so much more sense if you have the choice between offering a low ticket and a high ticket, where you would take the bulk of your time and you would dedicate it to the high ticket. Now, why? Because if you have, let's say, all of this time that you're putting into prospecting, if you want to make, again, let's take the $500 example here. If you want to make $500 instead of prospecting, getting on the call with 10 different people, let's actually break this down, okay? If you want to get 10 clients at 500 and your closing rate, meaning how many people on the sales call agree to buying from you, is, let's say, 50%, which is very, very high. Let's assume 50% of the people you get on a call with say, yes, $500 is great, all right? So that means we're going to have to talk to 20 people, okay? So 20 people you have to talk to if you want to get 10 clients to work with. Now, in order to get to 20 people, you might need to talk to, or you might need to outreach to, let's say, 50 people, okay? You might need to send them a message, send them an email, whatever it is that you got to do to get a hold of these people. Out of those 50 people, a certain percentage of people will be unqualified, okay? Unqualified, and or they don't need your service or whatever. So, reaching out to 50 people, finding, let's say, 20 people to talk to, 50% of them convert, and then you get your 500 per client, and then you get 5,000. You can see how the amount of effort that it takes to get a client at 500 is pretty ridiculous. Now imagine you had these parameters that were pretty much the same, but instead of 500, you had a $2,000 service. And all you would do is change who you talk to. Instead of talking to people who can only afford 500, you talk to people who can afford 2,000 and maybe way more than that, right? So if you get 10 clients at 2,000 following that same exact process, now you're making $20,000 a month. Can you see how that works? Can you see how it's so much more efficient and so much more fruitful to chase the high value service route? So if you have a limited amount of time, which most of us do, okay, none of us have an unlimited amount of time, and you have the same amount that you spend to prospect and to get new clients through the door, do you want to target people who only can pay, or only want to pay, or only have a service that you offer up to $500 or $1,000, or whatever it might be, just for the sake of example? Or do you want to pick people who can pay significantly more for a significantly higher value service? That is exactly what I teach my clients, okay? I've had clients who came to me. One specific client comes to mind, Maria. She's a public speaking coach. She came to me and she was like, Yasir, I'm only charging $400 or like even less than that. I don't know what it was. for my coaching service, and you can't make that money. So if she's charging $400 per client, in order to make $4,000, which is to replace her salary, she would need to work with at least 10 clients every single month. And the amount of effort that goes into prospecting, getting on a call with people, having them actually pay, and blah, 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 not to mention all the quality control issues with working with people at such a low price point, it just isn't feasible. So we moved her from 400, and I got her into the well within the 4-figure territory. She's upped her prices, and she made $5,000, no problem, with very, very little effort, just in the first 2 weeks of the program. So what I want to focus in on, what I really want to hone in on for you guys, is if you are starting your coaching business, instead of focusing on your smaller options, this could also include, by the way, a course. So a lot of people have like a $297 course or $397 course, and I know people who spend hundreds of hours trying to sell this course and it doesn't sell because they want to make some passive income, right? The way I teach my clients is, how do you make passive income? How do you not work full time and you still make high ticket money? So instead of focusing on all of these, spending the same amount of time to get people who can pay less, spend that amount of time for people who can pay you for your high ticket, right? This is exactly what I teach my clients in my program. Even if you have no experience, no branding, you're not on any social media, you're literally starting from scratch, how can we get you those high ticket clients? That is what I specialize in. If you want to check out some of the clients I work with, please check out the description. 2 resources I have for you. 1, you will find my Road to 10K guide in the description, how I made my first $10,000 a month with my coaching business. You'll also find a free webinar there with how to raise your prices for your coaching business. I literally give you every single excuse you have not to raise your prices and why you should, why it's good for you, why it's good for your client. And lastly, because you watched this video to the very end, I have a free Mastermind Facebook group where I get questions from coaches, aspiring coaches, new coaches, existing coaches, whatever questions you have about your coaching business, I will answer them. I'll do weekly live streams that I only do in my Facebook group and nowhere else. If you want to join, make sure to find that in the description again. And as always, if you would like to work with me, if you would like to get your coaching business off the ground, you can see if you apply. Check out the information in the description. Once again, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.